Alright, so in the last part of the video series, I cleaned up the bus axe, Collins bus axe head. Came out really nice. That was a few weeks ago at this point. And I think I haven't made that part of the video go live yet, so when you guys answer about what to do with the handle, I've already decided. I apologize. But what I've decided to do is essentially go with a 24 pack, but carve it. So I'm going to trace this out and use it as a pattern, modify it maybe just a little bit, maybe give it a little bit wider of a palm swell, because I've got some wood that's a little bit wider, and maybe make it just a touch thicker through the handle here. Not much, but this is a decently sized head. So basically just do my own kind of replica of the 24 pack for this. So we're going to trace this out on a piece of hickory. So I think it looks like the only defects in kind of the whole board are these two little pin knots right here and this little guy right here, which really are not very big at all. And I think with the shape of this handle, I can avoid them nicely with this placement. So that's what I'm going to do. So that way it'll leave this side larger for a double bit or whatever else I want to use it for. So I've got this lined up here. I'm just going to kind of trace it out just to give me an idea. The handle's not going to be an exact replica, but it'll kind of give me a jumping off point for it. So I apologize. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. So I drew a center line. Basically, the only thing you missed is I drew a center line, and then I took it to the bandsaw and kind of cut out, and even as I could, section off of each of the sides. And now I'm just going back with the spoke shave and just kind of shaping it up a little. 25 1/4. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So making good progress so far. Got this thinned down most of the way. Really just kind of working on the palm swell transition, thinning this out enough. I'll probably come in and give just a little bit more curve to this, thin this out just a touch in this direction. But I'll probably do that after I get it hung, just so I know how much to come up on the shoulder. And if I only want to hang the head here, I can move the shoulder up or whatever. So it's looking pretty good right now. Got it thinned down, considerably in this direction, and tapers larger as it goes back towards here, because this direction is really pretty thin. That's fine. I want a little bit more purchase back on the palm swell. So that's my goal, is to have it a little bit thicker here and then taper down to a nice thin profile. Probably. So this is our progress on the handle so far. If I give you an update here, I'm happy with the shape. I think it's looking good. Maybe thin out just a touch more on the bottom side here to kind of keep that sweep even. Got it thicker at the palm swell on where it gradually tapers down. Still got to even it out a little more, but I don't want to do too much before it's hung. Got the palm swell mostly shaped out from the handle side. And I'll probably do a scroll on. Maybe I'll change it up and do something different this time. I don't know. But I'll probably do a scroll on. So that's feeling really good. I like how the fingers lock in there. Again, when you're shaping these, it's important to think about the contours. I think, at least my opinion, it's important to think about the contours of the hand. So that's got to be a concave sweep, because it's got to match up the meaty part of your hand right here, right? You can see how that just slides in like that. It's comfortable, so that way when you're in full extension, this part will be gone, but when you're in full extension, grabbing something, or, it's comfortable this way too. Using kind of the pick end. So I started off tracing the 24 pack handle, and I deviated from that design just a little bit. I added some more curve to it. You can see here, 24 packs on the top. I like the same general size, but I added some more sweep underneath the palm swell here. So I added some more sweep in there. I added some more sweep and the curve in the shoulder here. But other than that, it's kind of like a curvy 24 pack. Not crazy curvy. It's still fairly straight, right? If you sight down it that way, it's really fairly straight. But got a little bit of curve to it. Alright, so this is looking really good so far, I think. Still got a ways to come down on the shoulder. I've got I'm only that far into the eye. So I'm about halfway there. I'll probably end up, so we're there. So I'll probably end up taking the shoulder back down about like that. just because I don't want to lose too much length on the handle. So I'll probably taper that slowly once I know it's seated where I want it more. Obviously not that drastic. I'm going to make it look more like that, but you get the idea. Like that. Also, it might sound silly, but I really like having a this woodworking vise, carpenter's vise, whatever you want to call it, set up kind of as a tail vise here, so I can work at the end of it. I like it that it's lower. I like that it's not sitting up as high as like my machinist vise or mechanic's vise. And one of the tips when you're driving a handle back out like that. You notice that handle was up in there like that. I'm not just getting friendly with it, right? If you look down here, I'm actually pinching the handle between my legs as I'm driving it out, so that way, a little bit of an odd view, but so you can see here, what I like using to drive it out with is just a old bolt. I've rounded the facets off here a little bit, just so it doesn't, it can spin in the eye a little easier and doesn't get bound up. But I use that to drive it out. One, because when they deform, you can grind them down easy, and they're disposable, right? You can get more very easily, cheap. But when you're driving it out, put the handle between your legs, and that way when you're driving it out like this, you can catch it. It doesn't shoot out, bounce off the floor, chip up your palm swell. Trust me, I know from experience when you're hammering on that and it finally lets loose, it'll bounce off the floor and you know, you could ruin a nice handle. So looks a little odd, but it works. Because when you get a lot of contact in there, it takes a bit pounding them out. One of the other tips I'd say is get comfortable both, because these teeth cut on the push, right? So when you have the tang facing you and you're pushing, it's cutting. Get comfortable flipping the file around and having it cut on the pull cut. It helps a lot to kind of be able to switch it end for end, to get into different corners and nooks and crannies and get it to behave how you want it to. Especially when it's a big file like this, right? This big Farrier's rasp. I really like using this for shaping handles. But it's big, right? I could probably deal with one that's, you know, that big and actually has a handle on it, but it works. So I've done some more fitting. This is where we are at now. We are actually sitting proud of the head, which is great. We still got a lot of room left on that shoulder. But like I talked about before, rather than going through the effort of dropping this even further, I'm really happy with how the fit is right now. It is 100% tight all the way around. Really snug. It's getting to be a bit of an effort to drive this out of the handle out of the head. So it's definitely a nice tight fit right now. So what I'm probably going to do is come to maybe about here. Still want to leave a little bit more of shoulder than usual because I want to sand this handle yet too. But probably come to about like that. So while the head is on it, we'll get to shaping it a little bit. The other thing, I want to leave myself enough room too because I haven't finished sanded the handle yet. So when you sand that a little bit, it's deceiving, but you're still taking material away, so it is going to drop a little bit further. So you don't want to take too much off before you're done. You can see since I've thinned the handle down there, it's got nice flex to it, right? It looks close. And this is probably just me getting a touch of the OCD, right? But we're sweeping down here, It looks just a tiny bit high in the middle. So I'm going to try to smooth this out just a little bit more so it matches. Taking some out of the back here so it kind of matches that same line of the belly on the front. So I'm happy with this hang. I'm happy with how much room we've got left on the shoulder. It's a little bit more than I usually do, but it's kind of the look I was going for this time. You got to keep in mind it's going to drop a little bit when we sand this. So right now, I think we're going to cut the kerf. I'm going to cut the kerf to about here. That should be about good. Hopefully I cut it straight. But I feel like the risk of me cutting it crooked is probably bigger on the bandsaw, and the mistakes happen quicker. So they usually happen bigger. So in my experience, if something's important, try to do it by hand, because hand is slower, so you get more time to correct a mistake when you start making it. Anytime there's an engine or a power tool involved, it can get messy real quick. So we're at a point here where I'm ready to sand. I've got the handle shaped up as much as I want for right now, just some little fine tuning. You can see there's still tool marks all over it. That's why we're sanding. I've got the palm swell scroll end shaped up as much as I want to for right now. I'm happy with it. I think the transition is fairly crisp. But we're going to have to tune it up a little bit after I, hammer on that too. Seat it after the final hang. So I don't want to spend too much time on it because I'm going to address it again at another point. So, like I said, it's sanding time. So got my random orbital and just going to sand, clean it up a little bit. Just got some 100 grit in there for now. So. I got to order some more 220. This is the last one I had. And it's not new. So, that's alright. It'll be fine. Alright, handle feels good. So we're up to 220, which is very smooth. I like finishing the handle up to 220 and then burnishing, which is what I'm going to do next. If you want more grip, what I would suggest doing is finishing the handle the same way and then just taking some like real heavy grit sandpaper and just roughing up this little area just a tiny bit and then hitting it with some smoother stuff to just kind of give it some more texture. But that's if you feel like you need more grip. The idea behind having a large enough palm swell is that you shouldn't, you loosen your grip and you're going to stop there through a mechanical interaction with your hand rather than needing kind of the traction of grip. But there's nothing wrong with more traction, right? So whatever you like, do it how you like. So I'm happy with this. I think it's looking really good so far. Get the full thing in frame. Alright, so I looked in my wedge box, found some of this cherry, so I just sanded that up quick. That's why everything is very, very dusty. I really need to hook up the collector. Yeah, it's looking good. This is a slightly narrower piece, so still way more than what we need for the eye. So that'll be good. I'm going to start shaping that down. So what I usually do is take a measurement like that, make a mark, and now I'll just plane that down. One thing you can also do is if you make your wedges with the growth rings going in the direction I like, you can take this and kind of split it out too to save yourself some work. But you also run the risk of doing that. So hand planer spoke shape is a little more reliable. I know I've said it a bunch of times before, but for this this job, I really like using my little Stanley number 60.5. It makes quick work of it. And moving it lower in the vise cuts down on the vibration and usually helps with the squeaking. see, it just makes nice little shavings. So I will also note that when I cut this wedge and sanded it, I had it thinner at the bottom than I did at the top. So that way I've got a taper on it. So as it goes into the eye, hopefully it fills it up more and more. Now we're going to taper to fit, hopefully fit, the front of the eye. And one of the other things that you can do to help prevent your wedge from cracking and chipping is just chamfer the top edges a little. I understand this is going to be cut off, but you get the idea. See how close we are to fitting it in the eye here? No, that's pretty close. All right. I'm going to shave down the back a little bit more because I'd like to see it get to about there without much force. So I'll shave down the back just a touch. So now for our kerf, we're going to measure when we're going to be at full depth of the kerf. So that's the front of the eye. So we know if we hit there, we're bottomed out. And the stop. And my goal is to stop due to compression before we hit that line. All right? Hopefully like right there, right? A quarter of an inch shy. I'd be happy with that. So this handle's all good. No, it's not. I need to burnish it. So I've seen woodworkers in turning videos burnish with wood shaving. So I wonder if you can do the same thing with an axe. So I've sanded this portion right here. I don't know if you can really tell the difference, but I'll try burnishing with the shavings from the hickory. I would say that works. One of the advantages of that is if you look close enough at the hickory, you can see those pores. Sometimes those little pores get filled with like broken down steel wool, so almost like steel filings. If you're burnishing with hickory, the only thing that's going to break down and get stuck in there is more hickory. So. Alright, so get that on there for the final seat. Alright, I really like how that's fitting. So you can see there, no gap anywhere. So you can see here, that is our gap that we are going to fill. It's not much, but in theory, you shouldn't need much, right? If you got a tight hang from the start. Oh, because I made that palm swell so big. Had a little trouble slipping into our little palm swell saver. So to start, I've got my 3 hammer progression here. My 1 ball peen's a pound. That guy's 2 pounds. That guy's 3 pounds. If I need more than a 3-pound hammer, we'll find one, but I don't have it ready. All right, we'll start driving it in and steering it. And the reason I like starting off with a smaller hammer is I'm trying to drive it in so it's lining up the right way. I want the progress at first to be very slow so I can get it lined up right, and then move to the bigger hammers. Move to the bigger hammers to drive it in deeper. Alright, that's looking good. We're hitting at the back here, just about hitting at the front. That's good. I'm going to do one more tap kind of in the corner here. Alright, now we're touching in both. See, we're a ways off from that being bottomed out, but we do have almost full compression in there already, and I haven't really hit it hard yet, so. Now we've got full compression, and I am hitting it hard. So you can see that front, it's actually driving in really evenly. There is a crack that's run right down the center here. See, it's right here. Which again, if you watch some of the other videos of the hanging, I am completely fine with. I'm actually happy it happened, right? So now, because that crack's propagating there, I can drive the back half in further or the front half in further, right? They can go in at different depths to do what the hang needs, right? So you can get more compression in the front or the back because of that. If it's a solid piece of wedge, it's moving together, or it's pinching in the front and then twisting, or pinching in the back and then twisting. So see, I was hitting that back, it wasn't moving, right? It was not going in there further. Stuck, right? Bottomed out compression. But I get the front, it's cracked here, I can get the front in more. Exactly what I wanted to happen, right? I'm happy with that. Now I don't want pieces to chunk off and chip off. That would not be ideal, but that crack, perfectly okay with. And sometimes when you get that front wedge in driven in more, you can let the back, you can drive the back in more because it loosens up compression. See, that was a not great strike from the hammer, but because I chamfer that edge, I didn't split it out. I really do like cherry. It is a durable wood for what this purpose is. Cherry and maple behave really pretty similarly. You can see, I'm rambling, I know, but you can see that it's deforming here. There's some plasticity to the wood. It's not so hard that it's brittle and chipping out. It's compressing and deforming, but it's taking a lot of pressure to do it. So in my mind, like a cherry and a maple is a really good hybrid between like poplar or like an oak, or a poplar and a black locust, right? I do like using black locust too, but I like cherry and maple too. Then you can you can change it up depending on what kind of look you want too. So. All right, we're starting to just split apart in random places now. So now is when I am going to call it quits. I'm happy with that. You can see from the side here, right? Started cracking in a few places. Exactly what we wanted. We got curling at the front here, or the back here. Curling at the front here. 100% tight compression all the way around. I'm going to trim this because it's a fire axe. Really pretty close to, well, I'll probably trim it and then sand it flush. Close to flush. Still proud, but not as proud as some of the other hangs. Sweet, I like it. My apologies. I thought I recorded me cutting it off. I didn't. It wasn't anything special. I just used the pull saw. And I trimmed it just the wedge. I didn't touch the handle at all. So one thing to note too is look at the handle, or the direction I've got the handle. I'm using this on the pull cut because the grain's supported this way. If I were to use this on the pull cut, I run the risk of chipping out either the handle wood, the tongue wood, or the wedge wood. And I want to try to avoid that, so cutting on the pull cut. Or I could flip the axe around on the vise, but it's easier to just clamp it once and then move the file. Now because I'm in the front, I'm going to cut on the push cut. I know some of you guys are probably curious, but this is a little shop knife I made years and years and years ago. Just walnut handle, copper lanyard tube, Korean bolster, I guess you could call it, and a hunk of an old different knife. But it works great for little kind of carving tasks and stuff like that, and doing things that I don't want to dull a nice knife with. So, a big proponent of having a couple shop knives laying around. So now we're just doing the final cleanup on that palm swell. And if you've carved a scroll on, or kind of any of these kind of weird transitions, you understand how hard it is preserving that kind of crisp transition line. It gets banged up and beat up so easy. And that crisp line, it's purely cosmetic. If it's rounded, it does not matter. Will not affect the function whatsoever. Yeah, just cosmetic. Alright, so those transitions are done now. If you look super close, will you see some tool marks places? Yeah, it's a hand carved handle. I'm not going to be able to get rid of all of them. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to spend like a week sanding this thing, so it's at a point where I'm satisfied with it. I think those transitions, like I said, if you've ever tried doing them, they are tricky. So I think those are at a point where I'm happy with. So look at how that came out. Very happy with that. Super tight hang. All right, let's get the rest of this oiled up. That heartwood looks great. I like it. I like the two-tone combination, right? A little bit of heartwood at the front here, a little bit of heartwood at the back. That little pin knot that's in the... I'm not worried about that location at all. The forces really aren't down in that part. So it kind of just adds character. Technically a defect, but it's a hand-carved handle. You can't see it in the wood before you start, so... very happy with it. Really like how this came out. So check this thing out. Oil's not fully cured, but that's alright. We're gonna fondle it anyways. Man, I could not be happier with how this handle came out. I really like the grain on it. Very nice straight grain. You see the waves a little bit, but then comes back. So if you follow the growth ring from here, you can follow it all the way down, right up into the eye. So should be a super strong handle. The hang, it was real nice and tight. It is real nice and tight. No gaps, so really happy about that. wedge job. Yeah, look at that. That cherry, it just looks so cool with those. If you feel it, it's perfectly smooth. Those lines in it are part of the grain. It's kind of messes with your eyes, but yeah. Domed this just a little bit. That way, if you're chopping or splitting kindling, it shouldn't catch as much. It's kind of like the look of it too, but proud hang. The palm swell. Some interesting parts of the grain there. It's pretty cool. A little knot. It's nice and smooth. Alright, I really like how this handle came out. Really generous palm swell. It fits the meaty part of your hand really well. If you can see here, what I tried to do, so right where your hand grips it right here, I kept it thicker, right? Right here, thicker. And then as you move up here, right about this point, it starts transitioning thinner. And that's thinner all the way up to the shoulder and into the eye. So what that gives you is a handle. It's kind of tapered in a few directions. So for, like I said, from here, it's a little bit thicker, thickest with the palm swell. And right about here, gets thinner, and then it's thin all the way up into the tongue. So that keeps the handle nice and flexible, but keeps the palm swell and the grip big enough where you can actually get a good purchase on it and grip it pretty tightly. So I like it. Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Super happy with how this came out. Definitely a fun build. Oh, I suppose I should compare it. Alright, so originally I kind of based it off the pattern off of the 24 pack, which is this one. you look from the top down, the pack's a bit thicker up there and a bit thinner down here. It's kind of the opposite of kind of what I was going for this. But that's good. I'm happy with how this came out. As far as the shape of the handle goes, there's a bit more curve to the one that I did. You can see some of the same general lines, more exaggerated palm swell on mine, more curve in the hand grip area, a little bit more curve at the back here, kind of at the belly, but overall about the same length. All right, so the 24 pack before, as it comes, it's actually 24 3/4 long. This guy is 25 1/4, so just a little bit longer than the 24 pack. I did keep it so that there was some more room on the shoulder in case I or whoever ends up with this needed to drop it down a little bit more. Still haven't decided if I'm going to let it go. Mike, you got to convince me if you're still after it. So yeah, I definitely plan on making a sheath for it, sharpening up the edge a little bit. I'm probably not going to do a crazy grind on it or anything, but just put an edge on it because it is a bit. It's not dull, but it's not chopping ready. And I think it just looked really cool with that spike, just maybe the end, 1/2 inch or whatever, kind of sharpened up. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate it. It's a very fun build. Let me know. What should I work on next. Should I work on the sheath of this next? Should I hang that Craftsman with the bevels on that Bryant and Cochran handle that I got from Kevin at Bit and Bark? Oh, what should I work on? The next thing I really should do is probably finish up that vise, but we're making good progress on it. Take care, everyone.